Good morning all. Today we are going to discuss about chemical bonds. First of all, let's see what is the need of a chemical bond. We know every system will have a tendency to reduce its energy. So when we consider elements, these elements in the elemental stage, their octet is not complete. So they can attain stability in the combined stage. So these atoms or ions, they combine together to form compounds by reducing its potential energy. And this force, the force of attraction which binds constituent particles together in a molecule is called chemical bonds. So it can be a different types of bond, the particles, depending on the constituent particles. It can be atoms, it can be ions, etc. So whatever be the type of constituent, the force of attraction which binds the constituent particles together in a molecule is called chemical bond. Now let's see the formation of a chemical bond. In order to represent the formation of a chemical bond, let's take the potential energy diagram of a hydrogen molecule. We know that hydrogen molecule comprises of a single covalent bond between two hydrogen atoms, and this diagram is a plot of potential energy versus internuclear distance between the two hydrogen atoms. From the diagram, it is clear that at higher internuclear distance, the two atoms are having high potential energy. And as the atoms approach each other from infinite internuclear distance, two forces of interaction operate among them. One is the attractive interaction between nucleus of Ha with electron of Hb and nucleus of Hb with electron of Ha. And second is the repulsive interaction between nucleus of Ha with nucleus of Hb and electron of Ha with electron of Hb. So it is clear from the diagram that as the atoms approach each other, there is a decrease in potential energy, or we can say the attractive interactions are dominating over the repulsive interaction, and hence there will be a stabilizing interaction which reduces the potential energy of the system. So this decreases up to a stable internuclear distance is reached where the two forces are just balancing. That means attractive interaction and repulsive interactions are just balancing. This point is called, or this internuclear distance is called the equilibrium internuclear distance. If the atoms are still bringing close together beyond this equilibrium internuclear distance, there is an increase in potential energy because of the dominance of repulsive interaction. So this diagram is called the potential energy diagram explaining the formation of a chemical bond. So we can see different points, or it is a parabolic curve where at higher internuclear distance the two atoms are having highest potential energy. As the internuclear distance decreases, a stable chemical bond is forming, and this potential energy decrease continues up to the equilibrium internuclear distance where the attractive forces and repulsive forces are just balancing and the system is having the lowest potential energy possible. This equilibrium internuclear distance is otherwise called the bond length of the molecule. If the atoms are still brought together beyond this equilibrium internuclear distance, there will be a dominance of repulsive interaction and thereby an increase in the potential energy. So this diagram clearly explains the energy changes associated with the chemical bond formation, or in this case a covalent bond formation. Now let's discuss the different types of bonds present in different molecules. Mainly there are four types of bonds which hold the atoms together in a molecule. These four bonds are also called the primary bonds or primary force of interaction. And the four bonds are ionic bond, covalent bond, coordinate bond and metallic bond. Let's see each one in detail. Ionic bond is formed by the transfer of electrons from one atom to other atom. In this ionic bond, metal atoms donate electrons and non-metals accept electrons. Examples of ionic bonds include sodium chloride, calcium chloride, etc. So this is a donor-acceptor bond. Or we can say one atom release electrons, donate electrons to other atom which accept that electron and two ions are formed. And the electrostatic force of attraction which holds the ions together is called the ionic bond or also called electrovalent bond. Second type is the covalent bond. The covalent bond is formed by the mutual sharing of electrons between the combining atoms. That there is sharing and the sharing is mutual. That means both atoms are equally contributing towards the bonding. For example, hydrogen molecule, Cl2, O2. These are all examples of covalent bonds in which one or more pair of electrons are shared between the combining atoms mutually. Now let's study in detail about ionic bonds. As we already discussed, ionic bonds are formed by the transfer of electrons from one atom to another. That is, one atom donates electrons and becomes cation, and the other atom receives the electron and becomes anion. And now each of these ions will have complete octet after the transfer of electrons. So the force of attraction or the electrostatic force of attraction existing between the cation and anion is called anionic bonding. So it is also called electrovalent bond. Now let's see the formation of ions. As we know, ionic compounds are results when metals react with non-metals. And these metals are having a tendency to donate electrons while non-metals have a tendency to accept electrons. We know the most common metals like alkali metals, alkaline earth metals, etc. These are highly electropositive in nature and they have a strong tendency to lose their electron because by losing their electron, they can easily attain the nearest noble gas configuration. And also, the non-metals like halogens have a tendency to accept electrons and attain the nearest noble gas configuration. So let's see some of the examples like alkali metals or group 1 metals. They will easily form monopositive ions like Na plus, Li plus, etc. And group 2 metals, that is the alkaline earth metal, they form dipositive ions like Ca2 plus, Mg2 plus, etc. And group 13 metals form tripositive ions. For example, Al3 plus, aluminium 3 plus ion. And negative ions are formed when number of electrons are more than the number of protons or they will have an excess electrons in them. For example, halide anions, then we have O2 minus, etc. So these are negative ions and the force of attraction which binds the positive ion and negative ion. The Coulombic attraction between the ions results in the ionic bond formation. Now let's see the general properties of ionic compounds. First of all, about the structure. Most of the ionic compounds are crystalline solids. For example, when you take the example of sodium chloride, you know it is available in crystalline form. So the ionic compounds have a perfect crystalline structure. And secondly, about melting point and boiling point. The ionic compounds are having very high melting and boiling point because of the strong electrostatic force of attraction existing between them. These ions are held together by strong attraction. So we need to provide high temperature in order to melt or boil them. Third one is about the conductivity, electrical conductivity. These ionic compounds are good conductors of electricity in the molten and in the aqueous phase, but in solid state they are having a perfect ordered structure and hence are not at all conductors. So electrical conductivity and thermal conductivity of ionic compounds are high in the molten and aqueous phase. And about the solubility in water, ionic compounds are pretty well soluble in water and also in other polar solvents. We know ionic compounds are also polar in nature. So any solvent which is having high polarity or which is polar can dissolve the ionic compounds easily, and higher the polarity or higher the solvation energy of the solvent, greater will be the solubility of the ionic compound in that solvent. Let's take the example of sodium chloride molecule to explain the ionic bond formation. We know sodium chloride is a typical example for an ionic compound. The configuration of sodium atom, the valence configuration is 3s1 and that of the chlorine atom is 3s2 3p5. So it is clear that sodium atom has only one electron in the valence shell, and if it removes that one electron, it gets the octet configuration or nearest noble gas configuration. So it is having very high tendency to remove that electron, and chlorine atom is having very high tendency to accept one electron, because after accepting that one electron it can attain octet configuration. So this chlorine atom accept the electron donated from sodium atom and become chloride anion, while sodium atom becomes sodium cation. And the force of attraction or the coulombic force of attraction, which holds Na plus and Cl minus, result in an ionic bond between the two ions. So this equation represents the formation of ions. So in this video we discussed about the general types of bonds, like four types of bonds: ionic bond, covalent bond, coordinate bond, and metallic bond, and also the energetics of bond formation and some details of ionic bond. In the next video, we can discuss in detail about ionic bonds, including the energetics of ionic bond formation and lattice energy calculation by Born-Haber cycle, etc. Thank you.